Welcome back to Bros in a Landfill. If your order is 30 minutes late, it's free.
Oh, good. It's free for me then, because I'm always 30 minutes late to these goddamn things.
You were 10 minutes late today. Excuse me, you still.
No, he
you
was
still have to pay.
50.
I was 50.
We're 50 minutes late.
Yeah, we're 50. All because I forgot to turn the rice on and it pushed lunch back. I'm so sorry.
Gosh, how dare you? My Uruchi would be disappointed.
Okay, it's like I rinsed the rice. I plugged in the rice cooker. I forgot to turn it on. Give me some leeway, please.
My Uruchi would be
disappointed. Is this how we're starting our Christmas episode?
Yes, this is how we're starting the Jack Frostmas.
Yes.
Oh, you made us spoil
why
it.
not?
Anyways, your hosts for this week are Jack Frost Tar.
I don't know what a Jack Frost noise is.
Black Frosted Dizzy.
Hee-ho.
And King Frost Try, which is me.
I'm much less of a Jack Frost or a Black Frost. I'm much more of just a Broody Frost. He wears a green hat and he has his arms folded and he sits in the corner and he has a rain cloud above his head and he's like, hee-ho.
I actually think
Oh, hee-ho, is that a Jack Frost noise?
Let me go ahead and find you.
That sounded more like Yoshi.
So wait, if you're not Black Frost, does that mean you're Jack the Killer?
No, Black Frost is like the really strong Jack Frost who has no friends.
Or are you Frost Ace?
Oh, I would love to be Frost Ace.
Then you're Frost
I'm not
Ace.
nearly cool enough. I'm not cool enough.
No one's cool enough to be Frost Ace.
What if I'm cool enough to be Frost Ace?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Here's a picture for you.
Anyways, if you couldn't tell by our Jack Frost puns, we would like to all welcome you all to Frostmas, Jack Frostmas. So for our Christmas special, we're gonna be talking about Shin Megami Tensei, which Tar has yet to play ever, and probably will never because he probably shouldn't.
Well, I mean, do you want me to sell Tar on this?
Yeah. Well,
Tar,
I mean,
wait.
Shin Megami Tensei.
I'm confused.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming out on Switch, and Tar has a Switch, so maybe we can get him to play it, even if it's the worst Shin Megami Tensei.
Well, there's no point if it's the worst, is there? I would rather Tar play a good game.
No, but if he plays the worst, it's only up from there.
No, it can just end there.
The first Ace Attorney game I ever played was Ace Attorney 5.
Oof.
I don't know.
I watched all the other ones, but I didn't actively play those.
I'll be edgy now. The first Ace Attorney game I played was Trials and Tribulations, and I still think it's the worst.
The first Ace Attorney game I played was none of them.
Although I think we already had this discussion on episode 5, which is, for some reason, despite all logic, is one of our best.
Yeah.
According to the great people of YouTube.
But, we'll talk about Trials and Tribulations after I'm done replaying the original trilogy, because I'm on the 3-2 right now, and it's a slow time. Getting past Case 2 is always the worst part of any Ace Attorney game, except 6. 6 has, the best Case 2, somehow.
I forget which... Oh, wait. Oh, that one's the magic one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either you love it or you hate it. But Case...
I loved 6 too, despite the fact that looking upon it in retrospect, it is a giant mess.
Yeah. 6-2 is my favorite Case 2 by far, but that's a me thing.
Well, Merry Jack Frostmas.
Yeah, Merry Jack Frostmas. Yeah. So
Happy Jack Frostmas. Let's talk about Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I loved the episode of Ace Attorney when Phoenix Wright dressed up in a Santa suit. Wait, that was Larry Butts.
Oh boy. Anyways, so
what did he do with that Santa suit?
Oh, he killed people. It was the most horrifying Ace Attorney case ever. I don't know. I never played Ace Attorney 1.
Did it happen to involve his penis?
No. Well, I mean, of course, we have to bring that guy up. It is Christmas after all.
Good old Mara. Never give up Mara. What if Mara was of Jack Frost in disguise?
No, that would be lame.
Okay, imagine a Mario remake, but it's Shin Megami Tensei, and the thing where it goes, your princess is in another castle. It's instead of something there, it's a Jack Frost saying that your King Frost is in another castle or whatever.
Well, you'd play as Jack Frost and Pyro Jack if it was like Shin Megami Tensei Mario, and you'd probably just be saving like, I don't know, some like hot girl that doesn't like you at all and tells you to piss off.
I like it.
Thanks, Jack, but I don't like you. Oh.
Wait, just before we were recording, you said that one of the characters that always accompanied you was a girl who's always in love with you. Why not rescue her?
That's the human protagonist.
Yeah, the human.
That's the human. Jack Frost isn't the main character. Except in that one Metroidvania video game spin-off thing that came out only in Japan because Japan doesn't want the rest of the world to be happy. That looked really cool and I can't play because I can't download it and also it's not in English.
Yep, sounds about right.
I would love to play that game. It looks badass. Let me go ahead and get you like a YouTube video of it for later.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of Shin Megami Tensei games on Switch, I really hope that they remake port Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem and put it on Switch.
This reeks of Joe. This reeks of ironic humor.
Dizzy, have you played Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Yeah, the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem game with idols.
Wait.
That wasn't really a Shin Megami Tensei game, though. It was a Fire Emblem game.
No, wait, this is a real thing?
No, yeah, it was... Well, I mean, it was more closer to like a Persona crossed Fire Emblem in ways.
Jeez, shitty crossovers are just all the rage in 2018, aren't they?
But
this was a year ago or so. But the thing is, Tar, is that it was announced as Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, but when the game actually came out, like no Shin Megami Tensei characters at all were in the game, and it just kind of took elements of the combat system.
Yeah,
it was mostly Fire Emblem.
And the Fire Emblem references in there were more so just some of the bad guys and like the main characters on personas per se were Fire Emblem characters.
Oh, but don't you worry, Tar. They had Flynn's goddamn jacket in the game.
I don't understand what that means.
And then
there's a character. Was Flynn's jacket a bad character, or
no? There's a character in Shin Megami. The main character of Shin Megami Tensei 4 is a character named Flynn, who is there's nothing intrinsically wrong about the guy, but for some reason he was pushed hard as like the big selling mascot guy. And so I just got really sick of him.
But then, Flynn's the main character, right?
Of 4, anyways.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, Flynn's okay. He's not really a big deal.
Oh, by the way, everybody, spoilers.
I mean, Flynn's not really a big deal in 4 because he's not.
He's kind
of just a silent protagonist. It's more an Apocalypse where he's like the big deal, like Flynn. Oh my God, it's Flynn.
I'm saying from a marketing, not in the universe of the game. Well, in the universe of the game, yeah, but as a marketing perspective, I just got sick of Flynn because he's like, look, there's Flynn's jacket. Here's Flynn's jacket. Buy Flynn's jacket. Flynn's fucking jacket. We made a cosplay of Flynn's jacket. $200.
Can we just say that Flynn's jacket is pretty, like, awesome?
It's just a blue jacket.
It's a blue jacket. That's awesome.
It's just a blue jacket.
I mean, would you buy him Joker's jacket, Joker's outfit? It's just a black.
Joker's jacket is awful.
Yeah, it's just a black jacket. Why do you? Flynn's jacket.
Guys.
Flynn's jacket actually is fashionable at the very least.
Guys, what about Phoenix's suit?
I would buy Phoenix's suit. You know, I would buy Phoenix's suit. It is a striking blue suit that looks badass on anyone. Flynn's jacket is just a blue jacket.
Nothing quite says badassery like a red tie that's trying its hardest not to be pink.
It is a good tie, Tar. Excuse me.
Actually, I think Ace Attorney 6 confirms that it actually is just a pink tie that's trying to be red.
Well, I mean, like, have you ever seen that one picture that's like a bowl of fruit, but it's every single color is just a different part of the red spectrum?
No.
Let me see if I can find it for you, but it was like, there's this bowl of fruit that's like a bunch of different colors, except it's not a bunch of different colors. It's an optical illusion, and every single color is actually just red. The picture is nothing but red, but it doesn't look red. Also, before that, I'm posting a picture of Flynn in the chat so you can see his blue jacket.
Oh, that's a cool jacket, though!
That's a fucking cool jacket. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm so sick of seeing this goddamn blue jacket.
Well,
everything.
Is it because that you don't like 4?
I'm more concerned about what's going on with his hair and what made him think that was a good idea.
Nothing made him think. He grew up in a part of the town, the part of his city for 18 years where they basically said, don't think, just be a farmer forever.
But why the ponytail,
He grew up in a corrupt
though?
society. Because he has a lot of hair and no way to cut it.
I mean, like...
they never explicitly tell you why a ponytail, like, but I would believe that.
It's not even a ponytail. That's just a ribbon he taped to his head and gave himself a bowl cut.
I mean, if you had no way of cutting your hair for 18 years, you'd do some weird stuff with it. Just to get it out of your eyes. Anything to see.
But that is a really cool jacket, though.
Yeah. Anyways, just as a reminder, this is Jack Frostmas, everybody. Just stick with us, and there's more Shin Megami Tensei stuff after this break. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
I can't find it, Tar, I'm sorry. But I can find a YouTube video.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Everyone, stop watching this podcast right now and go look up the YouTube video titled, This Is Not Red.
Oh.
It's very interesting. It talks about how the eyes perceive colors and stuff, and how the brain reads this information and things.
Well, that sounds interesting. Let's talk about that on Jack Frostmas.
Let's talk about anything but Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Including how Phoenix's tie is totally red, because pink is in the red spectrum. So it's still succeeding.
I guess so.
It's succeeding every single day.
Can we just, maybe instead of debating about his colors, let's just accept that Phoenix is a really good-looking dude.
That's true.
He's well-dressed, well-presented, and I think he deserves our respect.
I'll drink to that.
I won't.
Where's our eggnog at?
Santa
where's our
all.
eggnog at? I haven't gotten enough eggnog this Christmas season.
Santa stole it all.
Oh. Like he says as he's already drinking 3 whole cartons.
Oh man, that's great.
I love my eggnog.
I think it's because you're an eggnog.
Did you ever hear about those Jack Frosts that were made out of eggnog?
No.
You shouldn't have, because they don't exist. They were made of shaved ice. Get it together, guys. Gosh.
Oh man, imagine like an egg, like in Shin Megami Tensei 5, them having an eggnog Jack Frost.
Is that
Jack
something
Frost
they
drinking
do?
Eggnog. Jack Frost I don't know. They do whatever the fan art wants them to do.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, he's a cute cartoon character, so there's some things you can't do.
I was gonna say, like, he seems really marketable.
Yeah, he is. It's a shame they didn't put him in Smash.
You know who they did put in Smash?
Pokemon trainer?
You never saw it coming.
No, I saw it coming. I was yelling at other people for not seeing it coming, really. I actually got into a fight with someone about how I was saying, like, it's not that it's hard to see coming, it's that I just really didn't want it to happen. It was an obvious choice.
Well, it's because you saw it coming that you worried so much that it was going to happen.
I was worried because Persona 5 is a terrible Persona game and is a bad video game in general.
Oh, we got some.
We got some discourse here, I'm assuming.
You made this to create discourse for me. Excuse you.
Yes, true.
You were waiting for this.
Okay, so let's get to the main course. Dizzy, what's your beef with Shin Megami Tensei?
My beef with Shin Megami Tensei is the massive decline of quality.
Well, you get that with any series that goes on for so long.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe it should either end or be under new management, or end, preferably end.
I really think we need.
Hi, Super Monkey Ball.
I think part of the problem with
Shin
Megami Tensei, the big problem with Shin Megami Tensei in a whole, is that it's the only RPG series that deals with that sort of subject matter. And
what are you talking about?
No. Okay. I'm talking about like in the specific.
Get your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
I'm just very confused.
Okay.
Get your popcorn and eggnog.
Shin Megami Tensei is very Japanese, which is to say it has humans talking about how God sucks and then beat him up.
Well, no,
it's not intrinsic to Shin Megami Tensei.
I'm talking more about its use of certain like branch like JRPG with like a lot of choice and branching paths in a modern setting with that specific like while maintaining at least what I like with 4 and Apocalypse is maintaining that older style of JRPG. I don't know.
The branching stuff has pretty much become much more subdued as of late. I'd be surprised if Shin Megami Tensei 5 gave you any choices.
Yeah, I'd actually be surprised about like that, but that's part of what I like about Shin Megami Tensei. That's what got me hooked in the first place was the amount of choice. That's why like I want to play something like really want to play Octopath Traveler because like I don't know how much choice or branching there is, but just that level of player what's that word?
Agency?
Yeah, that player agency of like choosing which characters to play in which order, different things you can do in the world. That's what interests me in the JRPG is that heavy focus of story and choice because when you're doing a regular JRPG and it's just a straightforward story through, unless if it's a really good story, it's hard to feel like you have that sort of agency.
Well, that's the thing about player agency and how it can it's a very kind of liquid and bendable term that can also, it depends how much upon the weight of the choice. And the thing I feel about a lot of Shin Megami Tensei games now is that your choices are like straight-facedly meaningless.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of my problem with it.
Yeah. Versus nihilism has always been cool.
No, not when the draw to your game was your decisions.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where Dizzy's coming for that. I think the other thing with Shin Megami Tensei, especially now, is that a lot of the choices are this is the order route choice, this is the chaos route choice, this is
I mean, honestly, I went back and I played Shin Megami Tensei 1, and I say like it's a very obvious what year the game was made in. But I was gonna say it's really blatant.
Yeah,
but I don't mind it as much in the first game, mostly because I'm giving it the leeway of being A, the first game, and B, really freaking old.
Fair enough. I got two things to say. One, I haven't finished one yet. I've got the emulator on my phone, but I feel like I'd prefer to play it something other than my phone.
Why do you have to emulate it on your phone when you could just buy the actual game on the phone?
No, it's not out on Google Play. It's only on Apple iOS.
Oh, well, never mind then. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a dumb thing, by the way. It's like you make a phone port and then you don't put it on all the phones.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'd actually play it all the way through on my phone if I paid for it, but I don't have any drive to play it because I don't have any financial. When I have all these games I've already bought and I've put money into, I have no drive to play Shin Megami Tensei 1 on my phone when I've got other things to be playing. Like, if it was the only game I had to play, I'd probably play all the way through it, but...
Well, it can't be a worse use of your time than DX2.
Fair enough.
Wait, SMT has always been a phone game, then?
No, they just ported the first game of...
Famicom game.
Yeah, they ported that to Apple iOS.
They ported Shin Megami Tensei 2 as well, but they didn't translate it.
I think the other thing that's getting you dizzy with the choices is that after the way that 3 did its choice structure, where it's not there's more nuance to the endings.
3 had the easiest choices of all time.
Well,
Someone literally comes up to you, says, "Will you join me? Yes or no?"
Well, I guess no. I'm not saying that the choices themselves are not like watered down, super easy, but the ideas behind them aren't. Where like in classic SMT and even in 4 and Apocalypse, it's I guess especially like with 4, it's just either you side with the gods, you side with the demons, or you side with neither because both sides are dumb.
Well, both sides are extremists, and you want to pick the middle path.
Yeah.
But the problem with Shin Megami Tensei 4 is that oftentimes I go too neutral in my attempt to go neutral, and then when I try to get the neutral ending, it either kicks me to the law side or the chaos side because I have too many points in both categories and I can't be neutral, so I just destroy the world out of angst.
That's hilarious.
Centrism is the only option.
It's
the only true solution.
I want to stop both sides and save humanity. No, you don't. You want to join this side. I want to join my own path.
One of the hilarious things about 4 is that whole section where you go to that other like those alternate worlds or alternate futures where this is what happens if the demons win. This is what happens if the gods Like,
actually, they're just entirely different universes.
Yeah, I know.
They don't branch off from
well,
four
I know
all.
they're entirely different universes. It's the implication that they're trying to say.
I know it's one's a chaos world and one is a law world.
Yeah,
and it's funny because the law world.
The law world is like, well, the chaos world's by no means an optimal world. Just the law world is absolutely like is terrible.
No, the point is that the extremism doesn't work, and that the law world yearns for chaos, and the chaos world yearns for order, and that's like the thing that they get, and like the different interpretations, which could be interesting, except Jonathan and Walter don't have enough personality to make it work.
Well, like, no.
Because Walter just looks at this and says, obviously we need more chaos, that's your problem. And then Jonathan looks at it and says, obviously we need more order, that's your problem. And then Flynn looks at this and goes, man, I'm hungry.
I will say this. 4 is a very good analogy to the modern day political divisions, because when you see how like the watered down like arguments that take place online, it really feels like Walter and Jonathan like epitomize those where there's no compassion for the other side because they've bought into their specific groupthinks.
I mean, yeah, I'll say that Shin Megami Tensei 4 is a good game. It has a message of like anti-extremism, and like I should probably say, by the way, too, Tar, if you have a 3DS and some disposable income, I give Shin Megami Tensei 4 a very hard time. It is not a perfect game by any means, but I would still say it's worth checking out if you're bored. It is a solid game.
Yeah, no, it's solid.
I don't hate it.
I still have to get Persona 4 though. All of these 4 games.
Yeah.
Well, it's because 4 is the one that came like just the most. It's the most readily available, I guess.
Yeah, also, Persona 4 is also the most accessible because it's
the one that's marketed the most.
Well, it's not just marketed the most, but
just wait for 5.
Well,
I'm calling it right here and now. I'm calling it. Persona 5 fighting is going to be a thing, and God knows what else.
I mean, Persona 5 dancing's already a thing. Why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I'm calling it even.
No, well, okay, well, Persona 5 fighting is just going to be Persona 4, but with the Persona 4 arena, now it just has a Persona 5 characters in it because that's basically
and the Persona 4 characters because why not?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
depressing.
It's going to have the Persona 4, 3, and 5 characters. It's just going to be marketed under Persona 5 because Persona 5 is the most popular now.
You know what's freaking depressing to me, Try?
What?
One of the things that pissed me off or really annoyed me about the Persona 4 games, and this is the thing that I mention sometimes, is like it's a thing I talk about sometimes where I say if you don't have a story that makes sense in a fighting game, you could just not have a story at all and just have characters fighting, and I'd be cool with that. But when you give an explanation for why the characters in Persona 4 are beating each other up and the explanation is piss poor, I get really upset. But here's the thing that pisses me off a little bit.
What?
With the Persona 5 cast, from what I know about them, I could believe they'd beat each other up on the drop of a hat, and that's why I'm not very fond of them.
Yeah, they're not really the most pleasant of people.
I'm like, if you had Persona 4 Arena and you had no story at all, just the arcade mode, just the versus mode, the characters beat each other up and they beat up Elizabeth as like the stage boss, the arcade boss, I would say, like, if nothing else was changed, just no story, I would be way, way, way less hard on the game. I would be like, okay, this auto combat system is silly, and the way that they did Personas is weird, but hey, it's fine. But they added in that story, and it made everything nonsense.
Now that you
and they fucked up the characters.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know that they fucked up the characters if there was no story, because all you'd have is the versus battle intros and outros.
Now that you mention comparing, like, one of the things I've had issues with Persona 5 as opposed to 4 and 3 is one of the things that made 4 and 3 more compelling and gripping with the characters is that the characters didn't really want to have to go into the worlds. I think, especially with 3, like,
Persona 3 is such a good game to me, is the thing. And like, listen to this too. Like, in Persona 5, the characters all kind of hate each other.
Yeah.
And in Persona 4, they didn't. But I'm not saying you can't have a compelling story without discourse. In Persona 3, for example, a lot of the characters really didn't like each other.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Persona 5 was they took more inspiration from Persona 3 than 4 in a lot of the ways they handled.
They took Persona 3 and 4 and mushed them together without having a good idea of what they were doing.
That's fair enough. Actually,
you know what's like funny? going on Persona, just while I'm on this unstoppable rant train, just the DSY train is coming to the station. You guys remember that Persona Q game?
Yes.
I remember you bitching about it.
Yeah, funniest thing in the universe. I actually played Persona 3 before I played I played Persona Q before I played Persona 3, and I still hated it. And then I found out some very funny details, like the fact that in Persona Q, the Persona 3 cast are like constantly being silly and joking with each other. But Persona Q gives you dates, and in that actual date in Persona 3, all the main characters are at their most emotional worst and are really, really leery of one another. Yeah. They're not cracking jokes. They're like staring each other down.
Yeah, no.
It's like the most tense. It's like the most tense thing in the world. And you know what, too? Persona 3 freaking deserved it, too, because of it made sense within the universe. It's like everything has gotten really shifty as like the whole team foundation is kind of crumbling because it was kind of lofty to begin with. It's like everyone was just using each other for their own ends, and now that's kind of come out, and now they're like kind of giving each other like weird looks, like, wait a second. And then Persona Q happens, and they're like, let's talk about boobs. We're all good friends now. I don't care
Mitsuru.
Mitsuru was so wrong. She's so wrong.
I'll say this about Persona 3. Well, I do prefer the individual people as characters in Persona 4. Persona 3 had a more interesting cast dynamic because there was push and pull.
There was a lot of push and pull.
Yeah, and I think part of that does help with all the characters having more diegetic struggles, and it goes going beyond the simple daily lives like family problems, because Persona 4 deals more with the personal family internal issues. That's the whole part of its plot. Persona 3 handles a lot more heavier subjects, and it affects the entire team when people are going through that shit, where in Persona 4 it doesn't really affect the team because a lot of people's struggles are addressed while they're being recruited, because that's what their whole boss dungeon's about. Where that's not the case in Persona 3. Persona 3, it's more things are taken care of throughout the story.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. We're absolving family issues in a dungeon? Well, how does that work?
Not in a dungeon. It's more of like in Persona 4. Persona 4 is a big story that's focus is on self, and Persona 3 is a story that's big focus is on death. And in Persona 4, a lot of the you have to kind of play the game to really understand, because if I explain too much, then you'll probably not play the game because you'll be like, well, I know everything. I'll be like, damn it. But things happen in the dungeon that basically forces the conversation to happen. And as a result, it basically forces the person to have to face this problem that they've been trying so hard to get away from.
Ah.
So it's basically
so it's like, how do you throw daddy issues into a dungeon?
Well, actually, I'm trying to think. Does anyone? Well, there is one character with daddy issues, but she doesn't talk about it in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Yukiko?
Actually, what?
I'm just throwing out a guess here.
Actually,
I don't know the Persona 4 cast.
I don't remember if you ever meet Yukiko's dad.
Yeah, no. But
I liked Yukiko. She was fun before Persona Q ruined her.
But comparing this to Persona 5, where Persona 3 is all about the death, Persona 4 is all about self. Persona 5, it's really about other people being evil and you stepping up to.
It's one of the.
It's about you overcoming your fears and doing what's right, which has its place in the story, but it's such a surface
it's so poorly presented because all of the villains in Persona 5 are the most evil human beings imaginable, who happily they rub their hands together as they murder puppies and rape women and shit, and they do all the drugs and they sell it to the children, and it's there's no subtlety here. It's just I'm the most evil person alive.
Well, if Persona 5 was made back in Persona 4, they have the perfect this, because the whole idea is you're going inside the person, the bad guy's heart or whatever, and you have to go change their heart. That would be the perfect point, and I could see them doing this in the Persona 4-3 era, where you see what led them up to that point through their dungeons.
But in here, you don't see anything about. You don't know anything about the dungeons masters that you're running through, except that they're just evil. the guy who you're given the most insight into is pretty much, I guess, like, it's a toss-up between the first two guys, because the first guy, he tells you he at least went evil because of the expectations of the world that he couldn't stand, which isn't fair considering the things he did. Yeah. And then the second guy is just, I was greedy and desperate. And then after that, it's just, nope, who cares? Why is this guy evil? Because he's evil. Why is this person evil? Because he's evil. Why is this person evil? Because we needed a bad guy. Why is this person evil? Why is this person evil? Because she's not evil. You just remember her being evil, and that made her evil, so you brainwashed yourself into thinking a person was evil that wasn't evil. And also, by the way, weren't you being killed by hallucinations? I'm glad that magically disappeared. Can I have an explanation?
Yeah.
Listen. They're evil because of Vanitas.
What's that? I'm too out of the loop to know what that means.
No, was that a DX2 reference?
It was.
Oh, god damn it. It's been so long since I played the story mode of that game.
No, but what
I forgot all the story except that I hated it because I just stopped playing the story mode.
Dizzy,
and then I just kept grinding.
Dizzy, where I'll say this, and this is where I have a bit more hope for Shin Megami Tensei 5 compared to Persona 5, is that what really dragged Persona 5's story down was the politics. Because if you go back, like, to why the story was made, like the director specifically said that he wanted to inspire people to do political change and step up and fix the world, especially after I think it was the earthquake. And you whenever you have a story that's driven behind this political message, you're gonna lose some of the unless
having a political message is not an intrinsically wrong thing.
Yeah,
My problem with Persona 5 is every minute detail sucks.
Well, no, what I'm saying
the character dynamic is awful. The politics are incredibly heavy-handed. The characters are horribly inconsistent. The Phantom Thieves are incompetent. The music sucks. I'll fight anyone to the death on that one.
It's not that the politics, it's not that it's wrong to write a political story. It's that it wanted to have a political message without it being any deeper. Because the whole point was to inspire people to step up, to make change, to take down
You can have a message. Persona 4 and 3 have many messages.
But
Persona 5, I have more problems with it than its intention.
But Persona 3 and 4 weren't about the politics. Persona 3 and 4 were about more personal struggles. Persona 5 isn't about a personal struggle. Persona 5 is about the world shit. We got shit people in charge. You gotta go and change their hearts or change them out.
Yeah, until you find out that all the main characters are horribly incompetent and that you only really solve stuff by the magic of BS.
Yeah, essentially.
So basically what you're saying is that Persona 5 is a bad game.
Yeah, I'm saying Persona 5, for as technically great it is in some of its presentation and gameplay areas, is it frustrates me because there's a lot of things that appeal to me in the game and in the story, but
it was handled so poorly it can't satisfy your cravings.
Yeah, I know exactly, and this is why I haven't gone back and finish it. So I'll give some example. Persona 4 is the type of story that appeals to me. It's that small town mystery, etc. Persona 3 doesn't necessarily appeal to me. I can see that it's a great game. It's a great story. But it's the some of the more gothic death aesthetics and story doesn't specifically appeal to me, but I can still appreciate it for being a great game, and that's why I struggle going back to replay that. Persona 4 is a great game that appeals to me. Persona 5 is the exact sort of game that appeals to me. I fucking love Phantom Thief stories, and the fact that I can't go back and want to go through and replay through that bullshit is more telling of Persona 5 being bad than anything I could ever say.
Is that why you let 2 Ultimate Phantom Thieves into Camp Melancholy?
No, that was because there wasn't enough applications.
But I think I'm noticing a pattern here.
You know, if someone else turned in an app and they were also a Phantom Thief, I'd probably have to accept them too. Pending that it wasn't a terrible app.
I was going to say, I'd talk about how Persona 3 is my favorite, but I also said to Tar, I don't know if this was on the podcast or after recordings, that Persona 3 was my favorite, but I'd push Persona 4 to a new fan. I say that Persona 4 is a superior mechanical game,
Yeah.
On a technical level, like subjectively, you could argue subjectives about story or not, which is good because I think it's good to be able to argue about like the story and stuff. I think this story made more sense, or I think this story made more sense, and be able to make arguments for it. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying I liked 3 more personally, but I'd push 4 more to new fans.
Like, if someone was desperate to play 3 first, I'd say play Persona 3 Portable, just because while it does lose a lot of what makes Persona 3 great in regards to some of its like aesthetic. Plus it's a visual novel. But due to how they make the combat and the dungeon crawling more accessible and it's a bit easier with the healing and whatnot, and
how is anyone going to play Persona 3 Portable when they stop making copies of both the PlayStation Portable and Persona 3 Portable?
Well, you can get it on PlayStation Vita until like they stop making Vitas.
Oh, you can? Wait, hold on a second. I gotta go buy a Vita.
Yeah, that's
be sure to pick up Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits while you're at it, because I hear that game is like super amazing.
Yeah,
not super amazing.
Everyone, go out right now. But
it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but I played through Persona 3. The first time I played it was Persona 3 Portable because I was just playing I got all the games on the PS Vita, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Like
Everyone go out right now and buy good games.
So Persona 5?
Look, let me just go ahead and preface this too with Huh? All right. Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, I'm all right. Sorry, a conversation with a person outside. I was gonna say, look, I think Persona 5 is a terrible game in literally every single respect, and it could have done much better on absolutely everything. But if you still like that game, I wouldn't, I'm just saying that it needed a lot of work. Yeah. I will, however, openly call anyone who buys Persona Q2 stupid.
Watch it actually be a good game.
What?
Because shit makes great fertilizer.
I don't need to play Persona Q2 to know it's a fucking dumpster fire. And I'm not gonna freaking give Atlas my money just to prove my own suspicions correct. If freaking Persona Q2, again, I'll openly call anyone who buys it stupid. The first game was absolutely awful. The premise is completely moronic, and everything that's been coming out of Persona 5 has been horrible. And DX2 exists.
That's right.
And even if you don't have any of the history to go on, why the hell would you buy the sequel of a crossover to another crossover with no information going in? There's no reason to buy Persona Q2, and I will openly call you stupid for doing so. Watch all of our subscribers leave and millions of angry comments to flood in.
Well, hey, we need controversy to bad comments are still comments and still attention.
That's true. We are still getting those clicks.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because people are only going to stick around for 5 seconds, but...
No, they'll stick around until they hear me call them stupid. Then they'll leave.
Oh, true.
I will say this.
The first ones will. Then the word will get out, and then we'll only get multiple 5-second views.
I will say this in regards to the direction of the series. When we get more information about Shin Megami Tensei 5, and if it looks... if it doesn't immediately hook me like 4's premise did, then I might just skip that one and see how it turns out. I want to get the special edition. I especially if it comes with the soundtrack, because as much as I know I need to save my money and stuff. Fucking the Shin Megami Tensei soundtracks, even the dark brooding orchestral atmospheric stuff, I really like. Fucking when I got Shin Megami Tensei 4 and it had that disc, it came with the disc of sounds from Shin Megami Tensei history played by an orchestra, and I just shoved that into my car CD player driving home. That was just come to my ears. It was just my ears.
That was the true spirit of Jack Frostmas.
Yep.
I was gonna say Shin Megami Tensei games frequently have really good music, and even games that have music I'm not personally fond of, I can say, okay, that's probably like a pretty good song, which is partially why I'm so pissed off at Persona 5.
Yeah.
Partially, like, a very small part. I'd say about 10% maybe.
Yeah. I feel like Persona 5, as much as like I do enjoy some of the individual songs, it just sets up. It does set up a weird atmosphere.
I've gone on like long like talks about Persona 5's music too. How many times am I going to start a rant by saying I've gone on big long talks about blank?
Yeah. Like other than like behind the mask,
Welcome
surprise.
to Bros in a Landfill. Take a shot every time DSY gets angry and rants and cuts Try off. You'll be dead before the video is over.
That's right. Yeah, but other than behind the mask,
take a drink every time Tars just spouts a one-liner when Dizzy and Try are going at it.
Definitely.
Do it more.
I just don't remember anything else from Persona 5 other than those 3 songs. Maybe.
Oh wait, no. Reach Out to the Truth was number 4, right?
Yeah, Reach Out for the 2 is pretty great. It's not my favorite battle theme, but it's pretty. Like the rap breakdown's pretty good in it.
You want to hear something You want to hear something freaking tragic, Tar?
What's something freaking tragic?
Out of all the people I know, and this is counting the people who really, really love Persona 5 and tell me that I'm a freaking asshole for being really hard on it.
I mean, you're an asshole, but that's beside the point.
Well, yeah, I think I've played Persona 5 more than anyone else I know, which is partially why I'm so critical of it. And here's the thing, too. I've beat Persona 5, like, I don't know how many times, and I've got almost all the achievements. Just to preface what I'm about to say next, I cannot tell you any more than 10 seconds of the battle theme.
Mm-hmm.
Because fights on the hardest difficulty last about 10 seconds before I win.
Oh.
I've played the game so
Discord
many times.
cut out a bit. You're trying to say you never listened to more than 10 seconds of the battle theme?
I'm saying that of all the... I've never heard more than, 10 seconds of Last Surprise in Persona 5. And I played on, every single difficulty setting from the easiest to the hardest. I've never heard more than 10 seconds. I've played the game... I've gotten, almost all the achievements. And I can't tell you more than just, you'll never see it coming, and that's it. And I'm like, this song is 3 minutes long? Really? Because I shouldn't remember that. And I played this game, I think, more times than anyone else I know. And let's not forget the boss battle theme that people tell me I'm stupid for not liking, also known as drums.
I do like the boss battle theme, but it's not great. I completely understand why someone wouldn't like it, but I do like the guitar breakdown in it.
I forgot there was a guitar breakdown.
Yeah, you probably beating the bosses too quickly. It takes too long to get to.
No, because the thing about the bosses in the game is that a lot of them are just kind of structured so that you can only fight them the exact same way, no matter what your team is.
That's fair.
And it's kind of frustrating too.
The closest thing I could compare the battle boss theme is it's similar to the Fog in structure, where it's got some forgettable beats and riffs at the beginning that just are just kind of tempo or atmospheric, and then goes into big victorious sort of guitar, fanfare sort of just fun guitar. But there's no real melody or hook. It's just kind of atmosphere.
By the way, Try, can I just ask you a thing real fast?
Well,
can we rename this from
you
Jack
successfully sold me off of it.
Can we just move from Jack Frostmas to Sad Frostmas? Because this is just tragic.
Yeah, we'll call it Sad Frostmas.
Merry Sad Frostmas.
This is just DSY complains about Persona 5 and also Try and Tar.
Okay, so let's move over.
I warned you this would happen too. I said I go crazy when Shin Megami Tensei is brought up, and you were like, let's do it anyways.
Well, we could talk about Persona 5 more anytime. What do you like?
Well, hang up. I think the true spirit of Jack Frostmas is to look back at previous Jack Frostmases and look upon our past experiences. So, I want to ask you, you've been away for a long time.
Yeah.
What was your favorite episode without you?
Tar, I posted my response in the chat.
Let's see. I'd say my favorite episode was probably the Sonic episode.
That's fair.
That was the last episode.
Yeah. No, you guys, that was really funny. That was great. You guys both had a lot to say. It was a good back and forth. Pretty funny. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh.
My favorite episode
really?
with Try in it was the first one. I went back and rewatched our first episode.
Well, it probably helped.
Why would you do that?
I was curious to see how far we came, and we actually have. We've. I would say that for better or for worse, we have improved a lot since then.
Especially my editing techniques. All the filters I'm running are audio through. That first episode sounds so bad.
It's ironic though because the first episode has the most views.
Well, of course, it's episode
quality, 1. We've decreased in viewers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is episode 1. Like, that is the starting point.
Yeah, fair. Also, that's Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that's going to be infinitely like. Do
you want to talk about Pokemon?
Well, not just Pokemon, but Pokemon Sun and Moon, because that's a mainline game, and I think that.
No, I mean right now.
So, where I talked about Pokemon Mirai, the Pokemon Mirai, whatever. No, the Pokemon Friends.
Power of Us.
Power of Us, yeah. Where only people who've really watched the movie or are interested in the movie will watch that episode. But not everybody who's into Pokemon cares about the anime or the movie. Where Pokemon Sun and Moon's about the game and the anime, so anybody could listen to that.
No, I'm saying, do you want to change topics to Pokemon right now?
No, I want to talk. I want to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Oh well.
Oh boy, this sounds like a good time.
Well, first, could I just mention something?
Yeah.
About DX2 before we get off the topic forever and never mention it again?
Yes.
So,
quote unquote.
Yeah, for a while, I thought I was the only person still playing the game, honestly. My hopes have since been shattered.
The 4.5 on Google Play says otherwise.
Well, yeah, maybe the 405 is the reason why I'm no longer the only person playing it. But yeah, they made updates to the story, and guess what? I still haven't played those updates because I don't care.
Oh, but you got to tell us if it gets any better, so I can go back and play.
You know what? I will tell you.
Be our sacrificial lamb, Dizzy.
But I was gonna say I don't understand DX2 from any perspective at all, even the cynical cash grab perspective. Because there is nothing compelling about DX2's gameplay at all. No, it is nothing but level grinding. And here's the thing, I remember I told Try, hey, guess what? The microtransaction payments are $50, and your jaw dropped. And I'm like, okay, first of all, they're still $50. Second of all, they're being pushed twice as hard. Third of all, from the game's very own structure, there is no reason to buy them. And that's what's got me really confused. Everything in DX2 is in service to the grinding, so if you pay your way to the top, you'll just be at the top, and you'll have nowhere else to go, and just a whole bunch of money lost.
Well, the other thing is a lot of these mobile games are just an endless grind. They need an extra bit of hook to get you into it. Like with Fake Granddaughter,
the grinding has to be in service into something, you know?
Fake Granddaughter has the constant large story chapters that are released, and the events that have challenges, new servants, whatnot. And in general, it's less about the combat, I find, or the grind. It's more about all these fun characters from history reimagined into this servant
anime
mold.
Tropes.
Yeah, there's that. It depends on which event and which story, because the Camelot and Babylonia chapters are legitimately phenomenal, and even if you're someone that would struggle, I feel like Disney would play through the prologue to Fake Granddaughter, or maybe the first 2 chapters, and be like, why, him not really enjoying it.
Well, hold on, because that might not speak to the quality of the game. That might just speak to my complete, absolute lack of knowledge of the franchise.
Well, no, but I think that's more so the point. Someone like Fake Granddaughter is not the entry point to Fate, the Fate series, but I feel like I don't know what would be a good entry point for Fate because Fate Stay Night breaks all the rules, and since that's I mean, Fate always breaks the rules. Fate Stay Night breaks all the rules.
That sounds good to me.
Also, Emiya is a stupid, well, he's a dumbass who's got a hero complex, and he's always has to. He's kind of like a white knight who always has to prevent the girls from fighting, and he has to fight for himself. And I feel like that'd get on Dizzy's nerves because he's clearly weaker than, his own. He's clearly weaker than his extremely powerful servant, but he refuses to let her fight because she's a girl.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my
also,
question.
it's Hauser from Seven Deadly Sins.
Here's my question about this white knight guy. Does he ever change? Because being an annoying character or having massive flaws is not an inherently bad thing. It's when they never change and then tell you that they've changed that pisses me off.
Not particularly not all he learns is to trust Saber to fight. But it depends. It sort of depends on the route. I haven't finished Heaven's Feel because I've been watching the movies for that. But in the original Fate route, not really. And Unlimited Blade Works, especially not really.
So he's an asshole and he never changes.
He's a really nice. He's an extremely nice guy. It's not like he's an asshole. It's that he's got this complex where, and granted, the reason why he's like that makes sense. And I think it's not even just a matter that they're girls. I think he'd step up for anybody and be the one to fight. He's kind of got that weird martyr self-sacrifice, be the hero mentality because of his tragic backstory. So it makes sense why he's like that.
Is he suicidal? Is that his deal?
It's sort of it's basically
he wants to die in honorable combat.
Well, it's not that he wants to die. It's
that sounds like.
But that sounds interesting at least.
But he doesn't want to die. He just would rather die than not save someone else from death.
Is he a better character than Ryuji?
No one's better than Ryuji.
But seriously.
Wait, who's Ryuji?
I would say
Ryuji is the partner character in Persona 5, and he is awful in every regard.
I can't really talk.
He is a bully. He is a massive bully and an asshole for the entire game, and at the end of the game, he has the fucking audacity to say that he's changed and stuff when he fucking hasn't.
Oh, so he's Knuckles.
He's a fucking scumbag the whole game through, constantly causes and creates problems, and he never changes.
Never.
The whole game. The entire game, he is a fucking prick.
And do you want to talk about a social link?
His social link makes me angry because it's not bad, so to speak, but it's completely ignored by the game as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
He goes through this sort of arc, except he doesn't, because once the link is over, he goes right back to being the exact same asshole, but with a stronger persona.
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted.
So it's a DR FTE. So it's a Danganronpa FTE.
Well, that's what the FTEs are kind of based off of. There's the Persona 3, Persona 4 social links.
The thing about Persona 3, the original Persona 3, is you could actually only social link with 3 of your own teammates.
Yeah.
The rest of them, and including the 3 teammates you social link with, all have their arcs during the story.
Well, I think in Persona 4 Portable, you can social link with a couple more of them if you play as the girl.
I thought you could social link with all of them if you play as the girl.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, if you play. Okay, I didn't.
Even the dog.
Girls get more social links than guys.
Mm-hmm.
The girl has the power to date the dog.
It's true.
Oh.
It's true.
Oh.
It gets a little bit feisty in there.
She pets him with the ears, if you catch my drift.
Wait, what drift am I catching?
No, I was just making a stupid joke.
Yeah.
But but the thing is that Persona...
No, I'm all on board for the stupid jokes. What drift am I catching? I didn't catch it.
Catch it when the video goes up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless it didn't get picked up in my Audacity, in which case that's also perfectly fine. It wasn't a good joke. But it's in Persona 3 and Persona 4, the social links for the characters were not dictative of the character's entire growth. They were things that you could very easily see happening on the side, and could still apply to the story whether it did or did not happen.
But
in Persona 5, they're in two completely separate universes of the social link and the story, and the social link universe is slightly better because at least the characters do something.
Yeah, well, the social links in 4 seemed more like side quests in the sense of there's a specific problem going on in this person's life. Let's go and address that and fix that with the main character's suave, being able to fix everybody's things, assuming that you don't choose the wrong choice in certain ones.
Well, in Persona 4, the problems were much more personal and not something that you would make public, even to your own teammates about things of this nature. But in Persona 5, the social links just straight up happen in a parallel universe.
Well, yeah, because the social links in Persona 5 are like these big, like it's in a sense the social links in Persona 5 are equivalent to the dungeons in Persona 4, where these big self-discovery, life-changing, like I've overcome this thing in my life, or I've accepted who I am, or I'm going to become a better person. That's what their social links in Persona 5 are, and they have and they have no bearing on the story, and they have no change. Where in Persona 4, the sorts of things in social links wouldn't change a person that much.
Sorry, I was distracted by the picture Tar put up.
I was let me just see this. I didn't like. Anyways, what I was saying is that
Get the he hell out, Tar.
What?
Get the he hell out.
Anyways,
I'm here. What? What are you saying?
Get
Discord
the
cutting out.
he ho he hell out.
Oh.
I will bufutan you into next year.
Oh God,
which is basically a week
good thing
from
that's
now.
only a few days away.
Yeah, so I'll see you again very soon. You'll be back in time to do the recording.
Yay.
Anyways, as I was saying, the Persona 4, the Persona 5 social links are these big life-changing, like life betterment things that you would see in the conclusion of a Persona 4 dungeon. And in Persona 4, all the social links are side like problems within the person's life that wouldn't change a person in general. But like this do the social links in 5 and then not have any character growth or character change in the main story is a travesty, because like it just doesn't feel like they thought about it at all. It's just like, oh,
Persona 5 is a game that feels so much like they had one thought and then they went with it, and they never built on the thought. It's like the game is full of things.
Yeah.
The game is full of stops and of starts and stops. Mm-hmm. Just let's do this
that's
because
exactly
let's do
how
this.
I
Let's do this
design
because
things.
let's do it. Tar, don't sell yourself short. You write better than Persona 5.
Yeah, no, you do. I write better than Persona 5, and I'm not a good writer.
I write worse than Persona 5, but that's because I don't write at all.
Ooh.
Well, actually, that's
I've never seen Persona. I've never seen Persona 5, so I actually don't have any baseline.
Okay,
so we're just really trying to sell you to not play the game.
Yeah. The problem with Persona 4's Persona 5 social links is that they are essentially Danganronpa FTEs, which the free time events in Persona and Danganronpa is character development aside from the story, but the story doesn't really matter because the story is not about the individual characters overcoming whatnot and stuff. It's more about the individual mysteries and there's whatnot. Persona 5 has no excuse because Persona 3 and 4 has already done these sorts of things, but better.
Persona is a game that's supposed to focus on its characters, so its absence of care is just infuriating.
Yeah. Persona, if you're Persona, if you're a 60 to 100 hour JRPG, you don't need to be having your character development within the social links, within the extra content. You can play Danganronpa, not do the FTEs. Because the character the character development in the FTEs are never that great, especially in V3 where there isn't even that much character development. Persona 5, all the character development is in the FTEs. If there's a problem that's addressed in the story, it's never fully addressed anyways. It's like, oh, you took down the bad guy, but the person's still being affected by this thing.
No, even then, the story is contradictory to its own social links sometimes. One of the characters, Futaba, I'm not going to go too deep into detail for spoiler reasons, but she's like a massive shut-in. And then in the story mode, they do things to help her get over her shyness, and then because Persona 5 is poorly written, she's just completely over it and never has a problem with it again. But then in the social link, she still has problems with being a shut-in, and then at the end of the game, she says that she wishes she stayed a shut-in, even though she had no problems not being a shut-in before, and if you finished her social link, she talks about how she's happy she's not a shut-in anymore. Never mind, out the window. And then you have Anne, who Anne's social link is
all of this is happening at the same time, or is this like dependent on what routes you take?
Well, no matter what you do, whether you do or do not social link with Futaba, she's like, I'm a shut-in and I don't like being outside. And then like you devote 3 in-game days to helping her not be a shut-in. And she's like, I love being outside. And at the end of the game, something happens. She's like, I hate being outside. And then it's like, okay, whatever. And then, but if you do her social link, she's like, you're helping me overcome my fear of being outside. The fear that I thought I already got over, but apparently not. And then it's like, now I'm really over my fear. And then the story still dictates that she has to hate not being a shut-in anymore, even if you do her social link. And it's like, so you didn't really learn anything, did you, Futaba? You're pretty much the exact same person you used to be, no matter what I did, or how I social linked with you, or if I was a dick or not.
This Dizzy rant has been brought to you by Sprite Cranberry.
I am very high on sugar right now.
LeBron James, what are you doing here? You want a Sprite Cranberry?
I think on...
Want a Sprite Cranberry?
I think the character that makes me the angriest is An. Honestly, I swear to whoever you want that An has like schizophrenia, because she has like 5 different personalities and none of them are thought through.
No.
She's like, I'm a ditzy airhead, except when I'm not. I'm a tough, independent girl, except when I'm not. I don't want people to sexualize me, except when I'm literally posing in magazines and dressing up like a sexy cat lady with my freaking breasts open and the whip so I can be a fetish gear. That makes sense.
Just Persona 5
I care so
general
much about my friend who almost killed herself, which is a really serious thing. Let me just forget about her for most of the game.
So what you're telling me is Tar would love this game because it's all style, no substance.
I didn't hear that. I was too busy seething.
You cut out.
I said, you're telling me that Tar would love this game because it's all style, no substance.
I don't... You know what?
I like some substance.
That's actually not fair. Persona 5 has anti-substance. It's got a lot of style, but saying it's all style and no substance would mean that it's worth playing, it's worth your time. And granted, some of the gameplay segments are worth playing and worth your time. The presentation is great, but the way that it writes its stories and writes its characters is one of those that if you don't think of like it amazes me people think that it's a good game and it's got a good story. Like I don't get it.
Does it amaze you, or are you just kissing up to me?
No, when I was done playing it, I was disappointed. I'm because I'm one of those people that when I'm really enjoying a game, even if the story's kind of crap, I can turn my brain off. I can be like, okay, well, I don't have to think about it. When I've come to have higher expectations of Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, especially after playing 2, 3, and 4. Persona 5 left a bad taste in my mouth, and the longer I sat after playing it, the less I started liking it. After talking with you, it only reconfirmed everything I have issues with, and you keep bringing up more things about it. Now it's just like
hey Tar, here's a question for you.
Oh.
When you played Persona 5, how often did you use the mechanic where you would like crouch and sneak behind like walls or underneath things? You'd hide behind corners and stuff.
I do it pretty frequently because I'd play the game as it was designed to.
Well, here's the thing. Here's something I found out about that, actually. It is way, way, way more convenient to just stand at an enemy site and not do the sneaky thing. Because when you do...
I actually imagine that was the case. I was just too paranoid to try that.
No, because I did try it in one of my many playthroughs, and I found out some really frustrating revelations. Firstly, as long as you're not on the enemy's sight, they won't notice or attack you. So if you just stand out of their way, then whatever. But if you're crouching down and hiding, you're locked into that position until you either jump to another hiding spot or press circle to noisily leap out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And here's the best part too. You're supposed to like sneak around, right? Because you want to avoid fights. But when you're locked into a hiding position, you interrupt an enemy's walk cycle, so they can't move past you. So you're basically set into assassination mode. So the best way to be stealthy is to go against the game's own rules.
Yeah, no.
Also, have you?
I feel like the epitome of this issue. You remember the chapel in the first dungeon?
Yeah.
That was where I kind of just was like, fuck this with the controls, because trying to hide behind the chapel rows or trying to get around them highlighted every single issue that was in that mechanic, because you had a lot of small corners with a lot of bullshit. Like, I'm trying to exactly remember all the stuff, because it's been like a year since I played. But
weren't you like jumping around from hiding spot to hiding spot like continuously and getting your camera mixed up?
Yeah, exactly, and not even trying, like you tried, because you would try because you would try to move over, like not necessarily change hiding spot, or like, but sometimes it would jut you around to like the other side of something when you weren't trying to, and like it wasn't very like it wasn't the easiest to try to maneuver around those things, and the way that the enemies moved, it probably would have been just easier just to stand and walk around at that point, because it was just, it didn't help that it was at the end, like at the back half of the dungeon as well. And if this is your first time playing, you're still getting used to the ropes. You're still trying to get it adjusted to the gameplay, the mechanics, and the flow of the game. And if you're doing it in one run, you're basically fucked. Because it takes a dungeon or two to really get used to the flow of the game. That on a second playthrough, you'd be like, okay, this is easy peasy. Even if like you're playing on very hard mode and you don't do New Game Plus, you can essentially prepare well enough to know what you need for the dungeon at that point. If this is your first time playing, if you're playing on normal mode, and you're playing it casual, like you're playing it semi-casually, you're not caring too much about what your team is, or you're not that great at Persona, or this is like your first, or even if this is your first Persona or Shin Megami Tensei game, you're going in, you're trying to sneak around, and you're stuck in this area with a bunch of demons you have to take out before you can continue on, and you're essentially fucked, because if they spot you, because one of the worst things that can happen in a Shin Megami Tensei game is the enemy to do get the advantage. That's one of the few times that you can be really fucked, especially early on. So yeah.
I just remembered something.
What?
Because this happened like once in the entire game to me. I forgot it was even a mechanic, but if you get back attacked, an enemy can take one of your allies hostage and demand stuff of you.
Oh, that only happened to me at the beginning of the game.
Wait, what? Can you do that to them?
Kind of. If you knock down all of your enemies, you can hold them hostage and then demand stuff. But here's the thing: you have to like get on their good side, or else they won't give you shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's also, I think, isn't there a trophy for attacking the enemy, even if there's even if someone's taken a hostage, like, or something like that?
I was never given the option, but I will say I was like level 98 when this happened. One of my teammates got held hostage, full health, instant killed because the guy was a dick, and then I immediately nuked him with Megiddo and went, "That's why you don't fuck with me, sir."
Yeah.
Also, how did you kill my teammate?
Can I say that like one of the mechanics in the game that completely like broke a lot of my immersion and made the game ridiculously easy was the ability to swap out teammates.
Well, the
game becomes the game, like, one of the challenging things for Persona 3 and 4 is like, your whole team doesn't get EXP when you go through. B, you're stuck with the team you get when you choose, so you have to plan smartly to plan out all of your elements and whatnot and do your team composition. That's part of what made Persona 4 and 3 challenging. Persona 5 was a joke once you were able to swap out your teammates on the fly.
Well, you had to do a social link to switch your teammates out in battle, but from the word go, you could swap teammates out outside of battle.
I'm not even just talking about like
And it was. I'm saying I agree with you. Yeah, and once you could switch them out in the middle of battle, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, especially during boss battles were a joke after that point. Like there was not a single battle I struggled with once I was able to swap out teammates.
The only time I ever used teammates was during boss battles, because every other time I just needed them so my all-out attack would kill the enemy.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of enemy bullying, like, okay, so get this. In other Persona games,
enemy bullying, my favorite.
In other Persona games, when you knock down all of the opponents, you have the option to do an all-out attack or not. If you do an all-out attack, you'll do damage to all the enemies, possibly kill them. You'll do more damage the more teammates you have. And, well, I personally don't have
Is there any cost to this?
No, it's just you. Well,
is there a downside?
The only downside is if the enemies live.
Oh. And I'm assuming like there are skipped turns then.
No, if the enemies live, then they get back up. But that's it, pretty much.
Oh.
So
there's absolutely no reason not to do this.
Well, it really depends on the situation. Like, against one of the most dangerous enemies in Persona 3, the Reaper, there is a reason to not hit him with an all-out attack, because you cannot kill him in one shot, but you can exploit his AI by knocking him down, so he has to waste one of his 2 turns getting back up before he can attack you. Mm-hmm. So there's a good reason to not all-out attack him there. But anyways, what I was getting to is, in Persona 5, you can knock down all the enemies, but because Persona 5 operates under a different system of obtaining personas than previous games, instead of going straight for an all-out attack, you do a hold-up, which is an interesting idea, except for the way it was done. Once you've done a hold-up, you can either go into an all-out attack, which I always do personally. You can ask them for an item or money, which are both pointless because you get items and money for killing them. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. You can ask them to join your team and become like one of your personas in a system that was copied from Shin Megami Tensei of demon conversation.
Well, but here's the thing. Persona 1 and 2 had the demon negotiations in them as well. But I'll say...
Even then, there was a slight... Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I think you were going... Like, 2 has the tarot card system, which, granted, that's my least favorite part about 2 in general, is the tarot cards to summon personas. I wasn't too fond of because that turned into too much of a grind at certain points. But the fact that you have to knock the enemies down to negotiate with them makes the gameplay loop really frustrating. Because especially if you're someone who's used to Shin Megami Tensei, when you're playing Shin Megami Tensei, you can talk to the demons at any point. But the idea in regular Shin Megami Tensei about negotiating for money is that you can get more money from negotiations than you can do from winning, especially when you have certain abilities and whatnot. For example, you can keep bullying them to give you money, and say, oh, give me more money, give me more money, give me more money, and depending on the situation, you can get a decent amount of money before they decide to attack you. And if you're overpowered, they can just be, it doesn't matter if they attack you if you ask them for too much money, because you can just kill them and get more money after that.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, too, what I was going to say is, like, I mean, love or hate shuffle time. My problem, too, with, like, the thing is, again, it really breaks up battle flow since you have to knock down every single enemy before you can talk to them. And here's the thing, too, that's really frustrating. Not only can you only talk to one demon or persona or shadow or whatever at a time, they will demand things of you before, like, they join you. And if you mess them up, or you mess up your conversation, even though they're down and you're pointing guns at them, then you fail, they all get back up, and then they attack you. So why even try talking to them? Here's another thing, too. The game also has a system where enemies that are low on HP and panicking will simply ask you to spare them. Then you can ask them to join your team, and they'll just become your persona for free. So I found, again, the best way to get more personas isn't to do things the way you're supposed to and converse with the shadows. It's to just bully them into submission.
Yeah,
Persona 5, bullies.
I've got nothing else to add. That's essentially Persona 5 in a nutshell.
Persona 5 in a nutshell. Yeah. Bully everything. Marry Jack Frostmas.
Marry sad Frostmas.
Yeah.
Evil wins.
Marry Persona 5's miss.
Did you see the Persona 5 Christmas skins or Christmas clothing?
No.
Yeah, they're so good. And by so good, I mean, like, honestly, talking purely from a subjective standpoint, I think some of them look alright, some of them are kind of blah. I absolutely hate Ann's, though, because it's just her in a bikini.
Of course. Persona 4
Ann drives me freaking insane! Ann drives me crazy!
This was also the chick who dressed up as a cat girl, right?
Ann drives me freaking insane. She's like, her persona and her thing, she's like, I'm not something to just gawk over. Let me go ahead and just put on this sexy cat suit and pull out a fetish whip. Oh, it's Christmas? Better put on my big red freaking Christmas bikini thing and show off most of my body.
I'll just
Don't ogle me. I'll get mad at you.
No, it's okay. She lives in the Southern Hemisphere.
I'll just say in general, Persona 4, the Golden's costumes were much better than 5's. Even the DLC costumes in 5 were meh.
You know what happened when you asked Yukari Takaba in Persona 3 to put on this really revealing set of clothing? She asked you if you were out of your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what happens when you ask Ann to put on this really revealing clothing?
She just puts
puts it on. She just puts it on. She has nothing to say about it.
Oh, and remember the scene where where they what's his face wants to draw on naked, and that's the only, and then it's like that's like the only time she's like, oh, and like, no, I don't want to do anything sexy.
She's like, I don't want to get.
Well, isn't that just called having boundaries?
Yeah, boundaries, like running around basically naked in a Christmas suit, shoving your ass at people.
Oh, so she's Peach.
That's offensive to Peach.
Yeah.
Oh.
If Peach didn't have a personality.
Oh.
Ann's personality is the thing that drives me crazy because she has like 5 of them. Yeah. She's so inconsistent, it drives me insane.
Well, I mean, Peach does sort of have a personality in the Paper Mario series.
Anyways, I'm gonna go insane. So why don't you shift topics? You had something you want to talk about?
Yeah,
I personally always hate.
I was just curious. I just wanted to see what you thought of Apocalypse. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse is a very bizarre game for me personally because while I like it, I would not recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, that's exactly my same. Like the only person I would recommend it to is someone who absolutely loves Shin Megami Tensei 4, and nobody else.
What?
And when I say love, I'm not talking about like a story. I'm talking about more gameplay and aesthetic, and like the world of like the map and whatnot.
Tower, are you there?
Yo, I am.
Okay, well, everyone is cutting out for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Hello, greetings.
Are you there? Are you talking? Am I interrupting you, or are you not talking? I can't tell.
Yeah, I don't know. Tar has simply vanished.
I am here.
I was asking about Try.
Oh, no, I'm here. No, I'm not talking. You want to ask Tar something?
I was gonna say this, Tar.
Hello. Yo.
I was gonna say, without going into specifics, and again too, I said this at the beginning of the podcast. I said I would recommend Shin Megami Tensei 4 if you could find it at a good price. You might like it. You might not. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final. I bought Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final. I enjoy this game. I would not recommend it to you.
You don't recommend it.
No, and I will explain why. Like, this might sound weird, but that's only because I'm bad at explaining stuff. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final is an M-rated game. And when I say that, I mean it's like they wrote the word, let's make an M-rated game, and then everything branched from there. It is really, M.
It's twee as fuck.
It's It
is twee. Where Persona 4 has a lot. Not Persona. Shin Megami Tensei 4 has a lot of like. It's a very, I'd say, has a lot of cool aesthetic. Like Rule of Cool, you have these samurais with demons and whatnot.
That does seem very Rule of Cool.
It's the only way I could describe Persona 4's concept is let's make the coolest coolest Shin Megami Tensei that we can think of. And
Persona 4 is an M-rated game too, but it feels like
we're going back and forth between SMT and Persona. God damn it!
I was gonna say Shin Megami Tensei or Persona 4 is an M-rated game also, but with Persona 4, it feels like they wrote a story and the story was judged to be rated M. With Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final, it feels like they made a story to be M.
Well, even
I guess to put it that way.
Even Shin Megami Tensei 4, I question why it's M. The only reason why I feel like both games
Shin Megami Tensei 4 is teen.
It's teen? Wait, what?
SMT 4 is teen. It's T for teen. The most harshest swear they say is bitch, and they say it once, so I guess that was fine for the ESRB. And while things die and there is blood, it's not excessive to the point that they made it M.
I thought Mara makes the games automatically M.
No, Mara was in 4. He was just there.
Well, Mara was just, I think... No, 4 is M. What are you talking about? 4 is M.
4 is T.
I am looking at the ESRB board rating right now, and it is...
I'm looking at the games cartridge!
Then that's a misprint. Or they've changed the rating since then.
Maybe they changed the ratings. Times have changed.
Get your popcorn and eggnog, everybody.
Popcorn and eggnog? Ew! One or the other, people.
I just sent you the ESRB rating site.
I am so confused. Wait, for what city? Maybe that's... Hold on, maybe we're getting at this the wrong way. Maybe it's different per city. Or per state.
No. The ESRB is the national. It's national.
Man, I am confused as heck right now. Hey, Atlas, maybe print the proper text onto your cartridges.
I think I'll check my cartridge later, and I'll see if that's true for that. Like if it's like it was one of those things where if it was supposed to be T, but then they realized Mara was in the game, and they're like, nope, this is M now.
Tar, in case you don't actually wait, hold on. Should I even tell you this?
Yes.
Okay, well, Mara is a demon in Shin Megami Tensei, and it's literally a dick.
It's just one big dick.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just a penis.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, so I'll name 3.
That's why Try keeps mentioning this.
Yeah. So
also, funny story. If you look up the actual Hindu deity Mara, you'll find out that it's not a dick.
Oh, did you? Oh, speaking of Hindu, did you see all the like Hindu like shit that was like people like pissed off about Apocalypse because of like the Hindu gods being like the big bads in the game?
I thought it was just all the gods. But yeah, like Quetzalcoatl was also a crazy asshole. By the way, did you know Quetzalcoatl made reference to Dark Souls?
Really?
Yeah, he said praise the sun.
But no, since the Hindu gods played a bigger role in the game as bad guys, as like the bad guy group, because those were particularly new demons in the Shin Megami Tensei series, I think, or at least their new redesigns were part of like the marketing, and the Hindu community got like really like up in arms, which makes you think, why haven't we heard like this big Christian like uprising about Shin Megami Tensei?
Mostly because they don't know it exists, I would imagine.
I don't know, man. I guess granted they might not know that like the final boss in most Shin Megami Tensei games is God himself. I mean, even so, in the final boss in Apocalypse is God. So
it's Jehovah.
It's Jehovah, which is the Christian God. It's the Christian God. Yeah. So.
Well, now that this incredibly popular and influential podcast has talked about it, the Christian movement will be up in arms.
Oh my god! No, but think of how much exposure that'd get to SMT series. We might get Flynn in Smash.
On top of Joke, you know what? I would not be surprised at all to see Flynn's samurai outfit as a Mii sword fighter outfit.
Or I could also see
maybe as an assist trophy.
Or maybe as a full-on Mii outfit.
I could see like one of Joker's alternate costumes being Flynn's jacket.
I was saying to Sleuth, I was saying, like, you know what they should do for Joker's alternate colors? This was before Smash Ultimate even came out. I was spitballing if Joker would be in Smash. I was saying, here's what they should do for Joker's alternate costume colors that would make the most sense and would actually make it seem like he was a leader of a Phantom Thieves team. make his alternate costume colors the other clothing or like
that's
the color,
cool.
the colors, but not the clothing of the other Phantom Thief members.
That makes
like change his hair to like gold and his mask turns black, and his Phantom Thief color gets like the same color as Ryuji's Phantom Thief color. He's still wearing the Joker stuff, but he's got Ryuji's colors, and then An's colors, and then Yusuke's colors and all the other stuff.
I just want an Under Night or Blaze Blue character in Smash.
Well, as most people tell you, if Joker can get in, anyone can get in,
yeah.
which is absolutely not true because Joker is massively marketable and super popular right now. So,
but is he popular because of his own merits, or is he popular because of Smash?
He's popular because he's being sold so much.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Which I still.
By the way, guys, we should probably stop early because I have places to be.
Okay. Yeah,
we'll just go on without you, Tar.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at this with Joker. I don't really get the feeling like the sensation that Persona 5's as popular as like people make it out to be. I don't see people talking about Persona 5 that much, and when very rarely do I see people say, "Oh, this is my favorite game." I still see people talk about Persona 4 or the characters from 4. If anything with 5, they just meme some of the stupid shit like the Morgana memes, basically, like it's time to go to bed, or her making fun of Ryuji, making fun of Ryuji.
I never got to my Persona 5 rant. I just realized.
Let's finish off Christmas with your Persona 5 rant.
Oh, it's Christmas is ruined.
Yes, Christmas is ruined with Persona 5. The Phantom
Christmas is ruined by DSY complaining about Persona 5.
Persona 5 has stolen your heart.
I killed Santa with my anger.
You stole Santa's heart.
Tar, I want you to listen to all of this in full.
You stole Santa's penis.
That's what he gets knows all of. That's what he gets for flashing you. He stole his penis.
Is that really good for me? Because I think if anything, that means I just doubly lost.
Yep.
Tar, I want you to listen to this in full because Try already knows this happens.
Mm-hmm.
You have 5 minutes.
This is one of the things that drove me freaking insane. So at a point in Persona 5, by the way, I want you to know, I'm not making any of this up. At the very beginning of the game, you have your cat, Morgana, and he's like your partner and stuff. And from the word go, you can kind of tell that he's got some like issues to work over, that he has like some self-worth issues and stuff.
With the cat?
Yeah, the cat's got some self-worth issues. Self-worth issues that are never resolved, by the way. But anyways, he has some self-worth issues. He's got like some issues and stuff. And at one point in the story, you have another character who's supposed to be the replacement navigator, because in all of these Persona games, you need a navigator and then a replacement navigator. And when they get the replacement navigator, Ryuji, the asshole who I won't stop complaining about, openly berates and insults Morgana frequently and calls him useless. And he says it like with a happy face. He's like happy that he's saying this. He's like, oh yeah, now we can finally get rid of that useless cat. And knowing full well Morgana has issues about that kind of thing.
Oof.
And then something happens and like the Phantom Thieves get like divided and shit. By the way, also, no one is coming to Morgana's defense. None of his friends are telling Ryuji to shut the fuck up. They're like, oh yeah, Futaba would be great. By the way, Futaba's the navigator. They're like, yeah, and Futaba herself doesn't really give Morgana any kind of help or support or sympathy either. So he's being like really alienated by his friends. And then something happens, and Morgana says, like, fine, you guys, I'm going to leave and do my own thing. I'm going to go off on my own. And he goes off on his own, and he gets horribly attacked, and things happen. And you have to wait a couple of in-game days to actually start being concerned about him, because most of the other guys are just pissed off that he ran away because he couldn't take their fucking bullying. These are the heroes, by the way. Then they finally do find him, and he's like, haha, I'm doing great on my own. I don't need to go back with you guys. And then they're like, we have to get Morgana back because I don't know why. We were so happy to call him useless before. Let's go get him back because friends don't bully other friends. And then they go to freaking one of the locations in the game that's kind of big to like lay in wait for Morgana so that they can talk to him. And then they start, like, trying to get back to him. They're like, we're your friends. We want to be together. Or we're sorry we were rude to you or whatever. And then Ryuji, Captain Asshat Idiot, literally in the middle of the apology says, "Not really. We just you're fucking useless." And then Morgana gets pissed off again. And then they chase him around. And then Ryuji's like, "Fucking jackass cat. Do you have any idea how long we had to wait for you?" And I'm like, "Shut up!" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." And here's the thing that drives me the insanest. Like, I thought I was going to go crazy when Ryuji was, like, yelling at Morgana for having the audacity to be angry. I thought I was going to lose my fucking mind. But how it all ends is, like, some more shit happens, and eventually they get Morgana back with them, and Morgana's, like, still resistant to rejoining them. But then, like, Haru says, like, "You really want to be friends with them and stuff." And the game treats Morgana like he was in the wrong. And I was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, that was, yeah.
I was like, "Fuck
that was pretty bad, yeah.
off." I was like, you have established this person having, like, self-worth and kind of, like, issues of this nature, and then you bully him about it, and then you say he was wrong for not taking it? I was like, "I will manifest you into reality, Ryuji, and murder you."
And this has been Bros in a Landfill. Signing off.
Signing off.
Christmas is ruined.
Christmas is ruined. The Easter Bunny told me Christmas isn't real.
Dizzy is the Illumination Grinch confirmed.
Oh.
Am I that bad?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to give you self-worth problems.
Can we not post this video? I'm embarrassed. All right, I'm stopping.
Bye. Merry Christmas.